husband Breland has currently made her entire brand out of in recent months. But who is Slava? Well,
my first YouTube channel I started in 2016, back when I was in college, still in Moscow, Russia, which is when Breland found me online, which basically led to us getting to know each other.
During the time when Slava came into the picture and I announced that we were in a relationship, people did not like him. He was not well received, mostly because they knew that I had cheated on my fiance at the time with Slava. So my relationship with David did end before I started a relationship with Slava romantically, mostly because they knew that I had cheated on my fiance at the time with Slava, and they really liked my previous fiance. So they associated Slava with my downfall.
Fun! On January 30th, 2017, Breland announced her engagement was off. By July 2017, this happened. So yeah, Breland and Slava got married after only a few months of dating. Now, as a side note, there's been a lot of speculation as to why this moved so quickly over the years, but as Slava puts it,
I am gay, but I have a wife. Here she is, Breland Glitter Forever 17 on YouTube. And the question is, why are you together? Basically, date who makes you happy. When me and Breland first met, our relationship was 100% romantic. That was us. It's just a normal straight couple. When we first met, I was open to her and I said, yeah, I'm gay. We were starting as friends until later on when I started catching feelings, and I was like, oh my god, I love that bitch. I was like, I think I'm bisexual, that's crazy. But also before Breland, like, I never had relationships with men, like, ever. And not just relationships, nothing. Like, I was a virgin as Mary Girly Pop. So I did get deflowered by the glitter queen herself. We were just a normal couple. Like, I ate the cat girl. I ate that cat on almost every single continent, even on the plane girl, okay? Yeah. But then a few years into our marriage, my sexuality just changed. Mostly because I'm just very, very, very mentally ill. And I know it's effed up that I brought her into my mental issues, but it happened. And in the end, we ended up still being together, just in a different way, like a family, because we both have very dysfunctional families.
Anyway, okay, so around the time that the two got married, though, Breland's content took a turn for the absolutely unhinged, especially when it comes to her content with Slava.
She also started posting a lot of couple videos with Slava, but Breland's fans weren't having it. Like, her fans wanted Galaxy Slime, not cooties.
Oh, gross.
Because of this weird channel change, her views started dropping very fast, and she started actually receiving a lot of hate for it for some reason. A lot of her fans were blaming Slava for the bad videos, I guess because, like, in a kid's mind, they saw, hey, the second this guy joined the picture, her videos got bad, so this guy must be the cause. And it got so bad that Breland actually had to disable likes and comments on any video featuring him.
That really hits the nail on the head as to why things started getting weird. This was kids watching Breland change her style in real time without any real discussion as to why she was making changes, which can often throw viewers for a loop that they don't want to ride. So yeah, of course, they were going to blame Slava no matter how unfair that is to do, because oftentimes, dear Suspirians, the internet belongs in the cesspool. Like, the whole internet. The whole internet is sus. Sometimes. Like, it literally could have just been burnout or Breland changing as a human, but whatever, you know, blame the husband. That's the easiest thing to do. But also, maybe not, because as time went on, her content with Slava got weirder and weirder, with things like Breland making up a pregnancy and Slava saying it's the second coming of actual Christ in a since deleted video.
So I'm pregnant.
What?
Yeah.
How?
Well, do you remember?
Breland, I would never do that to you. I would never have sex with you.
But you did.
I did not.
You did.
Where did you get it from? It's not mine.
Yes, it is.
Get rid of it.
Just really?
Yeah, I'm not going to take care of that thing. You know that I believe in God.
That doesn't have anything to do with it.
Yes, it does. I did not. That's the point.
Yes, you did.
I know who's
Quit denying
kid
it.
that is.
Whose kid?
It's probably God.
Honestly, I don't even know how to see that as anything other than cringe trolling, but do with that what you will.
Yeah,
But
I
do you
don't
believe
like
that this still
this. This
isn't
looks
the
stupid.
most bizarre part of Breland's story? Nope. Not the weirdest part at all.
No,
That
I like it like
came when
this.
Braylon
It makes
started
it look
streaming
better.
on YouNow, which is sort of like Twitch, but like not like it's
Nope.
basically Twitch. Let's be real, though. You know, if any of you want to donate money to a streamer, you donate the YouNow equivalent, which is called bars. Now, this is where the true downfall of Breland really began, where she would show up on live streams drunk or appearing drunk and drinking and acting erratically in ways that would be concerning for any creator, but especially for one with a predominantly underage audience, right?
I miss the Breland. Bitch, this is the old Breland. I'm always. And by the way, for all you concerned about me, sit on this and, twist. Go get laid or something. Take this as your
Jesus
disgrace.
Christ, this lady's
Shut up.
crazy.
Yeah, how about that?
Now, I know some people found this entertaining, but a lot of other people found it actually pretty concerning, and I don't blame them. Like, I would be worried too if I saw this happening in real time. If you go on YouTube right now and search for Glitter Forever 17, you'll find countless videos examining what came to be known as the Glitter Forever 17 YouNow drama. Like, people went from being concerned for Breland's mental health to angry at her for the shift in her content to just downright confused, considering how out of nowhere all of this seemed. You know, videos
Guess
from
that
like
makes
Sister
sense.
Spill, Peter Mon, and more tried to figure out what the was going on with everyone's favorite glitter critter.
Does that look right? I guess it kind of does. I mean, if I zoom
And
out.
then she disappeared for 2 whole
Yeah,
months
he looks kinda
before
right,
returning
I
with a
guess.
now deleted video answering the question, what happened to Glitter Forever 17? Now, I can't find this video now, so we'll be relying on some other commentary to fill in the blanks a bit for us here.
Ouch. Well, hello everyone. It's Breland here. I am back. I know it's been a long time since I've uploaded
No.
a video, and I have a reason why.
After everything that happened, Breland returns to YouTube and oddly seemed normal. She uploaded a video explaining why she had vanished, but for some reason she didn't bring up anything that happened really. She says her reasoning for leaving was simply that she was depressed that her channel wasn't doing well.
Let's just say
Does that look right?
color of my
I guess.
kind of how I feel inside right now.
Now, when you go through the absolute pits of hell, like we all did back then with Breland, and she makes this video and then just returns to her usual scheduled content afterwards, like more DIY videos, more fashion hacks, more content with Slava, there's a big elephant in the room not being addressed. A big ass YouNow-sized elephant not being discussed at all, and Breland wouldn't discuss
I just
it
accidentally
for 4 whole
zoomed
months until
out.
she finally decided it was time to talk about YouNow in August 2019, where she also revealed that she was now so broke that she had lost her house.
So I was struggling so bad, and I was like, you know what? That's it. I am letting loose. I'm gonna pull a Trisha Paytas if I have to. And I'm sure y'all know what a Trisha Paytas is. Basically just like a crazy troll to really bring in attention so I could make the money. What really set me off and made me decide to do this was I looked at my revenue on YouTube and it was nowhere near enough to make my mortgage payment. So at that desperate point, I decided that I was going to devise a plan to get that money that I needed to pay my bills and to pay my mortgage, and I was going to do whatever it took to take care of me and my family. So I came up with a plan to be as outrageous and insane and crazy as I possibly could, because this has worked well for people such as Trisha Paytas and other YouTubers out there who troll for views and for money. People
I
just
don't
love
care,
to
lady.
see others,
But
like,
anyway, I'm
crazy
just listening
because
to
it
a
makes them
true
feel better about
crime
themselves.
And I suppose,
thing.
in reality, she never had to talk about anything. You know what I mean? Every creator has the right to talk about something or to not talk about something. People are going to expect or they're going to ask what it is her right to not, but Yeah, eventually she did. Now, before we continue, I do want to share a thought that I had, kind of like a bit of perhaps of maybe like a different perspective from what I often see when discussing Breland. Most titles about her are the girl who faked mental illness for clout and money and all of that. And like, yes, according to Breland, she faked all those outrageous streams and played up some absurdly out of touch rendition of what I guess she thinks certain mental illness might look like. So that's kind of like a big, bad, super stigmatizing BS thing. But there was something that she said at the start of this video that I've never heard pointed out, and I can't just scroll by without mentioning it, because as I said in the beginning of this, I don't think there's a simple answer to all of this. So here's what I'm talking about.
There are so many rumors, there are so many speculations, which I totally understand. I would speculate too if someone was to do that. Did Breland go crazy? Did she lose her mind? Was it the stress of the move? Was it the fact that she has mental problems and she's on medication?
Quote, was it the fact that she has mental problems and she's on medication, end quote. Yeah. Gives me pause too, right? Like, she said this over 4 years ago, but for whatever reason, it is rarely highlighted in the discourse around her. And I understand, the things that she said later on in the video, talking about faking things, doing stuff for views, that would likely very much overshadow that type of remark that she made, that is, it's like a little bit of passing. She just says it very quickly. But the thing is, and I am not a mental health professional, I am not here to diagnose anyone or guess what her self-described mental problems are. She has spoken more recently about having mental illness, though I have not been able to find specifically what she's saying it is, which again is within her right to privacy. And no, this doesn't excuse her actually faking some form of mental illness, because she very openly admits to faking all of this quote crazy behavior for money. So guilty is self-charged, and she does attempt to apologize and take accountability for it at the end of her video.
I just want to apologize to those people.
Do I have a
parents,
crescent
those
moon?
children
Please tell me
used
there's
to
a
watch
crescent
me. I do
moon.
apologize, and I know I acted inappropriately.
Awesome. There's no crescent
moon.
Oh.
An amazing person. I'm just trying to be as honest and truthful as I possibly can and explain to you why I did these things. I just want you
I
to
guess
know
I
how
can just
sorry
do
I am
this.
and how I'm gonna do my best to, I guess,
Now
earn
let's
your
go with
trust back and
light.
earn your respect.
I'm gonna go with
Because
a
I know a
nice
lot of
dark
people lost
blue
respect for me during that time.
right
Again, I'm not a
here.
licensed professional, but the more times I've covered influencers faking illnesses, like Maddie Russo faking cancer, which is absolutely disgusting to me. And I have another feature-length swoop doc that I've been working on about others faking various mental illnesses. There's really no excuse, but when thinking about very nuanced perspectives and playing devil's advocate, as we do here in efforts to find, kind of hopefully a little bit more well-rounded context and picture of what could be happening, it's also hard for me to think that for at least some people faking mental illness, and I'm not saying specifically about Breland, just maybe some people out in the world, is there mental illness at play that could make someone believe that faking is a good idea in the first place? Does that make any sense? Could there be a mental illness or elements of some form of mental illness that could cause someone to fake mental illness, or to think that they should, or to do that as a cry for help or seeking attention? So can some form of mental illness leave someone more vulnerable to faking illness in order to manipulate people into giving them what they want, like fame, money, or attention? I don't know the answer to this, but I do think it's a productive question, and I would love to know your thoughts. So please let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this just really, really fascinates me.
So yeah, just let me know in the comments what you think. Do you love me? Do you hate me? Do you want to never see me again? Let me know your honest opinion in the comments. Be brutally honest. I can take it.
Now, response from Breland's community to this video was generally positive, which I think also says something, because I think I can think of any number of creators, if it were to come out that they had faked mental illness or faked erratic behavior and then came out later and said that they did it all for views and money, I think some creators would be absolutely desecrated and wiped off the platform, and others are accepted. And I never understand, honestly, why rules apply for one and rules don't apply for another. Does that mean the rules shouldn't apply for any? or should apply for all? These are the questions. This is like what it's like inside the Swoop mind, okay? But anyways, the response to her video was generally positive, and you can, even check that in her top comments. So her community, pretty receptive, but YouTube at large pretty much had enough of Glitter Forever 17. Like, Breland only made 6 more videos on this account before she kind of faded into the ether there. And you'd think that that would catch us up to where we started this absolutely intense story, except in recent months, Breland has actually become far more transparent about the very real struggles she faced as a result of this controversy.
During the time that the YouNow drama was going on, I started to take opiates.
I would say she started trying pills even during our trips we were taking, and I think it became an issue as her channel started going down. The pills made her feel like this was not happening, just kind of feel numb, I guess.
I would say that I was addicted. I wasn't exactly a drug addict because I only took them for maybe a year because they were very expensive. That's another reason why my bank account went down so drastically, because I spent over $50,000 on opiates. I am going to be showing you my entire home, and not only is it not my home anymore, it's possibly going to be foreclosed. The drugs helped, but of course they are only a temporary fix.
The behavior Breland was exhibiting suddenly becomes a whole lot more clear than someone who was simply like pulling a Trisha Paytas, as she said. Breland was likely potentially having some type of mental.
I guess then I'll do a heart character, adding the final color to the primary color characters.
Nobody was around to get her the help that she needed, or perhaps someone
These are
tried
the
and she refused. I don't
primary
know.
colors.
And as far as the OnlyFans bits that I mentioned earlier.
So I did OnlyFans.
These are primary
After I posted my
colors.
OnlyFans clips.
Screw it. We're gonna do Rotten Mango. I'm gonna do Rotten Mango. Yeah, let's do this. Credits to Rotten Mango.
His breakfast is the same almost nearly every single morning. There's no differences between Sunday or Wednesday. Today happened to be a Tuesday, and he's sitting in front of an all too familiar plate of the same food. 5 a.m. It starts with a steaming bowl of rice, each grain perfectly cooked. There's a cup of miso soup. The tofu pieces are just bobbing around at the top. There's a plate of salted salmon. The flesh is pink, it's glistening, it's prepared just right. This is a quintessential breakfast in Japan. It's warm, comforting, nourishing. Not that it mattered anyway, since all of it was going to be on the floor very, very soon. Kenta checks the time on the clock. It's more of a habit than anything, really. But he was never late. I mean, this is his morning routine. It is always the same. He is meticulous, but he likes to check the clock just in case.
We're listening to True Crime while
He
drawing.
gets up to wash up and change into the same exact suit that he wears to work almost nearly 5 days a week. He mentally walks through the itinerary for the day. He has to get to work, meetings with all the teachers before the first bell rings, then he would stand at the front and greet all of the incoming students. It sounds weird, but that's how school administrators, they set the tone for the kids for the school day. You walk in, you show your presence. He always stood by the blue gates of the school, and he would just wave, all the uniformed kids shuffling in. Kenta slips on his trusty little loafers, picks up his briefcase, kisses his wife goodbye with a smile, and he takes the exact same route. Every single day. He could probably do it blindfolded. It's almost automatic. I mean, at this point, it's muscle memory. But today was going to be different. Each step that Kenta takes, he's walking straight into literally the devil's fire. He just doesn't even know it yet. He takes the same route, turns the same corner, and he drops his briefcase onto the ground. His hand flies to his mouth. Maybe he lets out a scream. Maybe he didn't. Maybe it was just in his head. Somehow his hands, they fumble and they find the phone in his pocket. He pulls it out. He dials 110. Hello? What's your emergency? I'm at the Tomagaoka Junior High. Please come, hurry. Come quickly. They're threatening us. I'm sorry? Who's threatening you? Kento is now reading the letter in his hand, and he's shaking. The letter is written fully in red ink. It's handwritten. It says, "This is the beginning of a game. You stupid police. Try and stop me if you can. Murder is something that I cannot help but enjoy. There's nothing that I want to see more than people's deaths. Let the foul vegetables be punished with death. Let there be bloody judgment for my many, many years of bitterness." They say it's the beginning of a game. What does that even mean? The operator's trying to calm him down. Well, maybe it's a prank, sir. I mean, maybe perhaps one of the students left it behind. Where did you say you found the note? Did somebody deliver it? Was there a messenger? Kenta is looking straight at the messenger. On the blue metal gates of the school, right next to the school
Hope you're
sign that
enjoying
reads
this.
Tomagaoka Middle School. And their motto, loved, ideal, school. We are best friends.
And then I'll
Next
add
to that
another one
sign,
right here, I guess,
sprouting
right here.
from one of the jagged metal peaks of the fence.
And it'll be a
is
heart.
the severed head of an 11-year-old boy. The note was shoved in his mouth.
Now for primary color number 3, we'll make Mr. Hart.
We would like to thank today's sponsors who have made it possible for Rotten Mango to support the Anti-Recidivism Coalition. The Anti-Recidivism Coalition is a Los Angeles-based nonprofit that aims to empower formerly and currently incarcerated people by providing a support network, comprehensive reentry services, and opportunities to advocate for policy change. This episode's partnerships have also made it possible to support Rotten Mango's growing team of dedicated researchers and translators. We would also like to thank our listeners for your continued support as we work on our mission to be worthy advocates of these causes. Before we get into today's case, I do want to note that this episode contains very graphic descriptions of physical violence against minors as well as very strong animal cruelty. If these topics are very hard to listen to, please take care of yourself. Go surround yourself with all the people and things that you love, and we will see you in the next one. There is a book on this case as well. Well, a few books on this case. One of which is technically considered banned in a lot of places in Japan, but it is written by the killer. It goes into graphic detail of the crimes that he committed and his version of why he thinks he committed those crimes. We found a version of it online. Our Japanese researchers worked to translate it for us so we can bring you a deep dive on this case. Because he wrote his own book on this case, and we're going to touch on the controversy surrounding that later, but because he wrote his own book, we do have a lot of detailed quotes from the killer, so that is mainly where it's going to be from. Now, with that being said, let's get into the case. If you want to play a game, I think it's fair that everybody at least should know the rules of the game. That's how it works. The press broke the rules of the game that they didn't even know how to play. The threatening letter that's found stuffed into the severed head's mouth, it came with a signature. It read in big, bold red letters, Saito Sakakibara. And underneath it is like this mysterious looking windmill symbol, almost like a logo, like the trademark of a killer. Think Zodiac killer type of symbol. The press read the kanji, so like the Japanese characters for Saito Sakakibara, and instead of pronouncing the way that he intended, the killer intended, because the kanji could mean other words, they stated to the public that the killer's name was Saito Onibara, which would be a more common surname. Onibara is a more common name, which technically the mispronunciation was due in part the killer's fault. They never clarified how to pronounce his name, and it's not a normal Japanese surname. The press take the kanji, they pronounce it the way that they think would be best pronounced. It is what you would reasonably call an honest mistake. This sent the killer into a spiral. He sent a letter in bright red ink. It resembled blood. It wasn't, but it was terrifying. He sent a letter to the newspaper, Kobe Shinban. Now, this is condensed for length and clarity, but it reads in bright red. You know that mispronouncing someone's name is the epitome of ridicule, don't you? Recently, while I happened to be watching TV, I heard a news anchor mispronounce my name as Onibara. I could have quietly enjoyed murder without anyone noticing if I had wanted to. The reason I deliberately sought attention from society is that I want to at least be acknowledged as a real human being in your imaginations, as I have always been and will continue to be an invisible presence. At the same time, I have not forgotten my duty to seek revenge against the education system that created an invisible me and the society that gave rise to this type of education. However, simply seeking revenge would only relieve the burden that I've been carrying. It would gain me nothing. So I consulted with a friend who is maybe the only other invisible being like me in the world, and he said, if you want to seek revenge that is not pitiful, but valuable, make revenge into a game by incorporating murder, which is already your hobby, your reason for existence, and your purpose. Make it a game. Change your hobby from murder to revenge. That way, you can create a new world that is uniquely yours without gaining or losing anything more or less than that. He writes, moved by his words, I initiated this murder game. However, even now, I don't understand why I enjoy killing. It's something that I would consider innate, a natural instinct. Only when I'm killing am I freed from the hatred that I harbor am I able to find solace. Only the pain of others can alleviate my own pain. In conclusion, I believe you've roughly understood the text written on this paper, but I have an attachment to my own existence that exceeds that of ordinary people. Therefore, I cannot tolerate my name being mispronounced or my existence being tarnished. Observing the current movements of the police, it seems apparent to me that despite inwardly finding it troublesome, they are deliberately disguising my name. Are they trying to erase my existence? I am risking my life in this game. If caught, I will likely be hanged. Therefore, while I won't say the police should risk their lives, they should pursue me with more anger and more determination. Anyone who thinks I'm merely a novice, newbie criminal who can only kill children is mistaken. I possess the ability to kill the same person twice. From now on, if you misread my name or spoil my mood, I will kill 3 vegetables a week.
3 vegetables?
He calls humans vegetables. It felt like the city of Kobe in Japan was on lockdown. I mean, there was a deranged killer on the loose. Everyone has the potential to be a suspect, to be a victim. The headlines were flashing on every single TV screen in the city of Kobe. Every single newspaper that you walked past in big, bold letters would just read, manhunt underway for Kobe child killer. Kobe city on edge as child killer remains at large. Kobe schools on high alert as killer search intensifies. What did the killer mean by vegetable? People are asking in the little streets, is he referring to children as vegetables or just like any other human as a vegetable? Like, what does it mean? Does he consider humans so subhuman compared to him that they're just rotten veggies to be disposed of? And what do you think he means when he's saying we're playing a dangerous game? A game of not getting caught? Is that what he's referring to? Why does he keep saying he's invisible? I don't get it. Why does he blame the school system? Is it because it's like too strict, too high pressure for young children? Does he have trauma from that? The chief investigator said he had never seen anything like this before. What does that mean? After a few days, schools in Kobe had to reopen back for students. But even then, each school, it felt like the Pentagon. Heightened security and police presence around the perimeter. I mean, the gates would open exactly at 8 a.m. By that point, all the students are waiting outside by the main gate, each standing next to their heavily protective parent. There is tension at every drop-off, every pickup. So much tension. The gates would open. The students would quietly, without saying a single word, shuffle inside.
I made this. It's the primary color boys. Look at them. They're so cute.
Schoolyard. They would go directly to their seats. The gate, which normally stays open, would be slammed shut, triple locked, and there would be a guard at stand. Students would have emergency drill practices. They would drop math classes to take impromptu personal safety stranger danger classes. At 4 p.m., the school gates would be unlocked once more, and all the students would be ushered out to their parents who are just anxiously waiting for them. Parents would rush up to their child who's in uniform, snatch their hand, and beeline it directly home. No stopping by the playground, no stopping by a friend's house. Immediately, we're going home. If kids, and that's a very big if kids were allowed to play at playgrounds, there was like a force field of parents surrounding them, just on pins and needles. You come back here. How many times did I tell you to stay inside? That's enough. We're going home. They would grab their kids' hands, rush them past all the newspaper stands, and they would read, "Kobe residents live in fear as killer remains unidentified." If the police just had a general idea of who to look out for, a rough composite sketch, I mean, that would have erased a lot of the tension for the residents. But all they had was a severed head, lengthy, terrifying, threatening notes that are reminiscent of the Zodiac killer in the US, and one singular witness. A man who was near the school gates before the head was found stated that he saw something very odd. He saw someone very strange. He said that they were behaving just very bizarrely. He said, "I think I saw the killer. I think he was carrying one of those plastic bags under his left arm, and the other one he was holding with his right hand." I would say that he's maybe mid-30s, mid-40s.
一つは左小脇に抱えてね、一つは40半ばから40ぐらい。
Fresh newspapers would hit the stands, all in big bold letters. Suspicious man holding plastic bag. But there were still 2 unanswered questions that would keep residents up at night, laying in bed. And they're wondering, 1, who is Seito Sakakibara? And where's the rest of the boy's body?
And who is the boy?
Exactly.
know?
They do know now. Yeah. Shinichiro, I'm gonna call him Shin. His eye
I hate
twitched,
this.
and his hand reaches for his pocket. Even just knowing that the scissors are in his pocket, it's easing a lot of his anxiety. He started carrying weapons around with him since he was in elementary school, but now it's coming in handy. He wrote in his journal, "I can ease my irritation and anxiety when I'm holding a survival knife, or I'm spinning scissors in my hand like a pistol." Being a middle schooler in Kobe is not a great time right now. I mean, he's nervous. Things rarely ever made Shin nervous. He is the oldest son in the family. He takes it seriously. It is his job to be the tough guy in the family. He thought he did pretty well. He's got these 2 younger brothers, and every time there's a cockroach, every time there's a bug, he would be the one to kill it for his little brothers. But somebody left a severed head on his school gate, impaled on a metal rod. Shin went to that middle school. In his 3 years of being a student, nothing like this had ever happened before. And the killer is just pretty much guaranteeing to the world that it's gonna happen again. Like, what was it that they said? It was some unique phrasing. "I'm gonna destroy 3 vegetables per week." Shin's parents reassured him, "Don't worry, Shin. You're gonna be fine. As long as you don't bike to school anymore, you take the most traveled streets, we're gonna walk you to class, don't talk to any suspicious men in their 30s or 40s, and you're gonna be fine. They're just trying to fearmonger you right now." Shin would be fine, right? But he's not convinced by any of this because, let's be real, how in the world do you avoid every 30 to 40-year-old strange man? How do you not know if it's the salary man buying rice balls next to you at the convenience store? Like, how do you know if it's not the nice-looking guy walking his small dog at the park? Shin had taken to switching to the other side of the street whenever he passed someone who even slightly fit the description of the killer. He's not trying to take any chances. And there's like only one thing that would comfort him at night. It was something that his mom had told him years ago, like when he was a kid, elementary school. And every time Shin would be anxious about going to class or participating in any social activities, his mom would lean down, get in his face, pat his hair, smooth it, put it behind his ear, and say, "Shinichiro, if you're ever nervous, just imagine that everyone around you is a vegetable."
Wow.
Shinichiro didn't have a lot of friends to talk to in his life. I mean, the ones he did, he took really good care of them. He was very sweet with them, very delicate. He was never rough around them. He was washing one of his friend's hair in the shower, and he really liked doing that for people. His grandma used to do that for him. It was soothing in a way. It's relaxing.
Shin is a middle schooler, you said?
Yeah, 14.
14.
Shin would tell his friends about the newest anime he was watching, or the manga that he was writing himself, and afterwards he would help the friend dry off and comb through the knots in his hair. It's like he ran his own little personal hair spa. Now, all I have to do is comb through all the tangles. You need to brush your hair more. Do you brush your hair at home? Ow, this is so painful. Can you please be gentle? Ow. Shh. It's not that painful. Besides, you look so much better now. More fresh. And I'm almost done. Shinichiro smiles at his friend's soft face. His cheeks are so plump, his eyebrows are naturally thin, and his skin is so thin that it's so delicate. It almost has like this translucent quality to it. You can see all the veins. He always had this slight scent of peaches as well. It was always so sweet. He was one of the prettier kids in school. They said that he had the face of an angel. That's what all the teachers said.
Shin or the friend?
The friend. Shin finishes combing up the friend's hair, and he picks his friend's severed head off the bathroom counter. And he hums while he gets a chair to lift up one of the ceiling tiles. So in his room, the ceiling tiles, they push up, and he can hide stuff in the ceiling. He gets on the chair and gently places the head in the ceiling. Shh, I know you don't like the dark, but I'm gonna be back soon. He's about to lower himself back into the bedroom, but he notices something on his friend. He pokes his head back up, grabs the napkin from his pocket, and wipes off some of that thick white liquid from his friend's face.
What is that?
He's a necrophiliac.
Oh.
There. What a pretty little vegetable. Shinichiro's safe space was his grandma's vegetable garden. He would just stand in the vegetable garden, staring at the unharvested carrot leaves just poking out of the soil and the tiny little plump tomatoes on the vine. I mean, too bad she was dead. He really missed her. Yeah, Grandma was his favorite. Shinichiro walked into the house from the garden, and he found himself in his grandma's house all the time. Like, he went there quite often, just going through her things, reading the little notes that she left behind, sitting on her bed, staring out the window, wondering, what would she be doing if she were still alive? Grandma was all he had. And boom, he falls to the ground, wakes up, there's tears dried on his face, his skin feels tight as if his face was covered in tears that were now dried. He had fallen to the floor of Grandma's room and passed out. He didn't know how long he was out for. He slowly got up, he felt something very off. He felt exhausted, he felt depleted, like every soul, every energy in his body had just exited. And he feels something moist or wet between his legs.
Yeah,
He's like,
no.
oh my God, did I pee myself? Am I bleeding? He rushes to pull down his pants, and instead, he saw what he describes in the book as a white gelatinous material.
Oh my god, this boy is
He
disgusting.
stared at it.
I hate this
His
freaking
he
crime. Oh my
looked down
god.
at the 10-inch long shoulder massager that was pulsating around on the ground. It was as thick as a mini soda can, and it was moving around on
I'm
the
gonna
ground
stop.
like a worm. So it was on.
Wait, what's on? A shoulder massager?
It's like one of those wands.